Today's still the mediator special at Cannes for the whole week. We're having the best of the market, and today one of the best is Nick Emery from Jellyfish. Hi, Nick.
You're laughing when you say that.
Yeah. So your Jellyfish is part of Brand Tech today.
That's right.
You spent a year rebuilding around AI today. What are the changes today for you and for the clients?
Well, we've spent, this was 2 years ago, actually. But 2 years ago, we spent 12 months essentially rebuilding every aspect of marketing around AI. But also important to note, it's not our first go at this, right? If you go back to the foundations of brand tech in 2015, it was built around machine learning, it was built around disrupting the whole co-model, it was built around a new way of bringing technology to brands. So this is not something we've just discovered. And that's important because companies without that legacy, but built upon technology, but also technology to drive creativity and results and invention, is what we're all trying to do, but it's much easier if you have a new company that you can coalesce technology around. So 2 years ago, some of the genius people at Jellyfish, a guy called Jack Smythe, invented share a model before anybody else invented that kind of looking at agentic. And we started talking to both humans and agents. You know, agents are the most important audience that you're never going to meet, but they're increasingly influential to how brands perceive themselves and how markets perceive themselves, how commerce is driven, how you should talk to people. So we've been doing that for 2 years, but we also looked at CRO agents, CEO agents, social agents, QC agents, but a lot of it built upon Pencil. So Brand Tech acquired Jellyfish at the same time as Pencil, which was a genius move because we brought together both global platform relationships, media, MarTech, creative intelligence with a fantastic technology platform and built around AI. So really it's been accelerating since then and trying to solve that balance for clients between both human invention, agentic invention, results, both big brand ideas and mercilessly efficient workflows.
So today we're talking a lot about in-house agencies. His traditional agencies are done today, or how do you merge from that?
I think traditional agencies are done, right? Because, but some of those services are not done, right?
Right.
Because although I think AI cannot be overhyped in terms of it is a real sea change to our business. I mean, it always used to be that my favorite quote was that line from The Leopard, which is everything has to change so everything can stay the same. And it was always felt like every new invention was just a rearrangement of what we already had. But I think this is such a substantial change that I think it has. But there is still always in business that balance between the old world and the new world. And clients work at different paces of change. There are certain clients that completely embrace technology and really want to drive the change in their organization and have the metrics to measure that. And there are those that are thoroughly confused about it. So I think traditionally it's definitely dying, it's not dead, right? Because of that. Because there's always a level of conservativeness or reluctance to change in clients that means that world will still hang on for a little while. But what clients do want is progressive clients, which is those are the ones that we are talking to, are prepared to remodel completely. And that's why you're seeing a whole new range of services. I mean, we didn't have forward deployed engineers, did we, 12 months ago? And now there's a whole breed of people that we have suddenly invented that are enabling and transforming AI. And that, I think, is what's interesting about Cannes this year, is that, yes, there's still a talk about AI, but it seems to me a lot of the conversation is about how AI. What is the workflow? What is the process? What's the talent mix? How do I actually make it happen? And that's both in-house and not. So we offer three main models. There's a tech-only model. So if you want to do SaaS, if you just want to buy our technology, we will facilitate our technology to transform your organization. And that might come with an enablement team, it might not. Or there's in-house, and that depends on the range of services. And mostly that's creative content production, strategy, measurement, less hands on keyboard, right? Because the balance of in-house is always efficiencies, close to clients, speed of decision making. But you also want to make sure that you've got the best ideas and the best talent that come from working with a company that's always working with many other clients. And then enterprise clients who want to transform, but inevitably transform at a slower pace. You know, the top 20 clients want to transform, but they find it hard. You know, possible exceptions, well, big exception with clients like L'Oreal, you know, who really are diving into that from the very top of the company in terms of transforming the organization around AI.
Yeah. So you come from Mindshare, was one of the biggest Oracle network. How that experience can change how Jellyfish is going on the market?
I think it's a blend of the two. In that, when I ran Mindshare, I was criticised for not having all the things that Jellyfish has. So, you know, deep MarTech engineering expertise, brilliant platform relationships, great invention, the integration of created data and technology. It's still a global company, still fantastic relationships with all those platforms. And we have that now. But what we don't want to do is replicate that, right? So it's always a balance of having people who can listen to clients and can drive change with clients and bring our best thinking to clients, with still deep vertical product expertise. So it's an evolution of the company, and it's not because the Jellyfish was the most fantastic company before we bought it. It's really about adding scale. It's about seeing round the corner in terms of what's happening next. It's staying, you know, a couple of steps ahead of your competitors, which is much easier to do when you're a private company and you don't have any legacy and you can move so much quicker. I mean, if you look at share a model, Jack came up with the idea of share a model. We all thought that's genius. He put it into our French engineering team, and it was done in a month. Right now, imagine that at a Holker, you just can't do that because it's not that people aren't smart. They are, of course, they're smart, but the invention is not fostered, it's not nurtured, it's not praised, and to get the invention, you have to then take it to somebody who then takes it to 4 other people, who then takes it to a Holker, because you're a CEO who reports to a CEO who reports to a CEO. And they don't want to create technology for one company, they want to create technology for all companies.
Yeah.
Which means by the time you've created the technology, you're 6 months too late. And we have chosen to compete in the most competitive environment in the world. So if you want to be the #1 Gen AI company, which is what we want to be, everyone's in that space, right? Everyone's inventing every second of every day. You know, and we used to say at Mindshare that you have to destroy the company every 6 months and start again because things always evolve. Now we have to destroy the company every minute and start again and continually evolve, continually coalesce. You become a much more kind of organic organism, right, rather than a company, because you're changing and adapting. And because AI is so competitive, you just have to make sure that you've got that constant feed of invention. And then how do you plug that invention into activation and delivery?
Yeah.
And that's always the challenge. But I think what we have now, we have all those constituent parts. Whereas I think in my previous life, we had the scale, and we had the officers, and we had the ability to do everything you wanted to do from China to Indonesia to Peru, but not so much the invention.
Yeah. So you're talking about Cannes and AI. There are a lot of AI announcements in Cannes this year, last year. Like, it's everywhere. How do you separate real announcements from just demos?
Well, you were asked to see the demo. I mean, I think that's the point. But that's why it's the best and the worst of Cannes, right? Because Cannes is brilliant in terms of everyone wants to be creative, everyone's trying to drive change, everyone's trying to look at the greatest technology and produce brilliant work. Now, that work can be big brand ideas or workflows or new technology. That is the very best of Cannes. And if you can dive into that and find something new that is of advantage to your clients, then that's brilliant. The worst of Cannes is the self-promotion, the platitudes, the words, the blah, blah, blah that comes out of people's mouths, and the emptiness of it, and just the emptiness of self-promotion. I think you just have to filter those two. And I think you know, don't you? You know, you interview loads of people, right? So, and you see lots of credentials. And you know, don't you, in the first second, you kind of know this is bullshit, right? And I think it's just be able to discern between those two.
Yeah. So how is the market losing time today?
Is the market losing time?
Yeah, losing time on those announcements.
I don't think the market...
Should we... So every clients or agencies wants to do AI. Do we have to do AI?
Yes, I think you kind of do, right? But it's how you do it is the most important thing, because AI is the most transformative thing in our world right now, right? It can cure all our ailments, it can create the most fantastic things, if it's pointed at the right things, right? If it's pointed at empty vessels, then probably we shouldn't be doing that. But I think, yes, but it's the twin side of it, right? There is the efficiency, and there's the workflow, and there's the mechanics of it, and there's the creating of new jobs like forward deployed engineers and all that kind of thing. And then it's the product that comes out of that and how you measure that product. So yeah, of course we do. But like everything else in life, it is a balance. And it's a balance of human invention and AI ingenuity that brings the two together. But I don't think there's any way you can ignore that. I mean, if we're honest, our business has an existential threat. I know we use that word too often, but in theory, there is nothing that an agency or a whole code does now that a client cannot do themselves. Through all the AI tools that they have. What we offer is insight, invention, creativity, an edge, a way of using it, a way of deploying it, a way of bringing the best of the past with the best of the future. And that's an exciting job to have, but it's a highly pressurized job to make sure you're constantly ahead. But yes, of course, I don't think there's any way you cannot stop that tide, right? We are in it.
Yeah, but I think it's maybe gonna change with the whole the token industry got in AI and the way we can use it and afford it. That's the main question. Maybe the question for next year. Thank you, Nick, for coming here, and have a delightful can then.